The conventional way of looking at food and dieting, or even your everyday diet, is to be very focused on macronutrients. Am I getting enough protein, carbs? What's my fat percentage? But guess what? I've got good news. If you're on a plant-based diet, you don't have to bother yourself with any of this macronutrient stuff. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, this is Dylan. The purpose of this YouTube channel and Well Your World is not to convince you to eat a plant-based diet, it's to help you make it easier to do so. Take out all of the complications, such as worrying about macronutrients. We are so caught up on, are we getting enough of this? What do I need to supplement? What about nutrients? All these things. Let's talk about it because it can be so much easier than that if you're on a plant-based diet. Let me tell you how I eat, first of all. I like to break it down not into macronutrients, but into food groups, I guess. And these aren't even the conventional food groups. They're gonna break all the rules, so don't freak out. But the main thing that I eat are starches. Yes, I get the bulk of my calories from starches. I don't like to call them carbohydrates. Starches are potatoes, whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, and then legumes like beans, lentils, you name it. These are all very minimally processed foods, and you can get a lot of really healthy starches and carbs from these foods. That's one food group where I get the bulk, probably 2/3 to 3/4 of my calories from. The next food group that I eat from would be whole fresh fruit, and the third would be non-starchy veggies like all of the salad greens, bell peppers, onions, all of this. There's no real calorie content in these foods, very low calorie, high nutrient foods, okay? So these are the three main food groups that I eat from, and then there would be like whole natural fats from nuts and seeds and avocado. So when I'm thinking about healthy food, I'm thinking about those 3 to 4 main food groups, okay? I know they're not a conventional list of food groups, but that's what I think of. I am not thinking about protein, fat, and carbs. Let's talk about protein. A lot of people think you need a lot of protein in your diet. It's the most common question we get from people that don't eat like us. Where do you get your protein? Some of them actually want to know the answer, most don't. Most couldn't care less. They just think we're idiots for not eating meat. So protein, you probably need in your diet 50, 60, 70 grams of protein in order to be healthy. You don't need as much protein as you might think, and it is very easy to get it from all of the foods that I mentioned, especially the starches. The beans, the tofu is great for protein if you're worried about it. Like I said, it has a little bit more fat, but tofu and soy products, things like that, all very good for getting protein. Chances are if you're eating a well-balanced 2,000 calorie diet, give or take, with all of the food groups, especially based on starches, lots of beans, you're getting plenty of protein. You don't need to count your calories. You don't need to enter it into Cronometer. You can, if you're brand new to this way of eating and you're concerned with the numbers, you can add this to Cronometer and take a look, but that should just be a beginner exercise until you get everything figured out. Bottom line, you don't need very much protein. This misconception about protein is strong. A lot of people think they need to take protein powders. Oh, even the vegan ones, the ones that are, quote, healthy. It's still processed junk that has extracted the protein from whole food. It's not a very healthy way to eat. I avoid protein powders. I still have a lean, muscular build. I work out. I'm not a bodybuilder by any means. I understand. If I was a bodybuilder, would I increase my protein intake? I don't know, because I don't really have plans to focus my energy on building tons and tons of muscle. Sure, maybe I'll make a smoothie and I'll put some oatmeal in there. I'll put some tofu or healthy soy yogurt in there, but I'm not putting in any kind of protein powders. These are unnecessary. One thing that's become really pervasive in the culture is when you go out to eat, and you should not go out to eat very often, but when you do and you order a dish and they're like, would you like to add a protein to that? This is one of Reeves' pet peeves. It's really silly because the proteins they're asking you if you want to add are more concentrated in fat than they are in protein. Let's take, for example, I went to one of the big name steakhouse restaurants to look at their nutrition facts online, and a simple 7-ounce steak, this applies to any size, has 168 calories from protein and 225 calories from fat. There is more fat that you're getting from that protein than there is protein. It's a farce, folks. Don't fall for it. Animal protein is full of fat. There is virtually no one in the developed world that has a protein deficiency. You are not going to be short on protein. Your kids are not going to be short on protein. Everybody's doing fine. You don't need to stress about it. While we're on the topic, let's talk about fat. No, you do not need very much fat in your diet. A low-fat diet is usually also still too high in fat. Like I was saying earlier, a healthy whole plant food diet like the one we eat should get get you about 10 to 20% of your calories from fat. If it's much higher than that, you're probably eating in excess of overt fats like nuts, seeds, avocado, soy products, coconut. If you're eating a lot of those, then you're going to be getting more calories from fat, which you don't want if you're working on weight loss, and you definitely don't want if you're working on maintaining healthy artery health, not clogging up your arteries with excess fat. Unhealthy fats would be things like oils. People think that they need to be cooking with vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever type of oil. It adds flavor to the food because it's very rich and concentrated, but it doesn't add any health. Some people will push back and say, oh, but olive oil has vitamin E, and that's really, well, you can get vitamin E from any number of healthy foods. Eat the whole plant foods, like even the nuts and seeds. If you want to get vitamin E from whatever nuts and seeds have it, do that. But you don't need to worry about getting it from oil. Stop trying to convince yourself that oil is a health food. It is not. It clogs your arteries. It increases your cholesterol. I know, no cholesterol in our diet, and you can still have excess cholesterol because of eating unhealthy processed food like oil especially. A lot of people think that type 2 diabetes is caused by carbs. That's not true. It's the fat that's causing the insulin resistance, and then if you have insulin resistance, you can't very well digest some of the carbs. So that's why there's this misconception about type 2 diabetes. It doesn't work that way. Some people think flaxseed oil is really important. Oh, it's the healthiest oil. That may be. It may be the healthiest oil, but that doesn't make it a health food. Believe it or not, you can just grind up flax seeds and add them to your food, and you'll be getting all of the flaxseed oil that you need. All of the benefits from flaxseed come from flax seeds and chia seeds. Just grind them up and eat them like food rather than like liquid. Our bodies are powered by whole natural starches. The beans, the whole grains, the potatoes, these are the foods of our ancestors. There is nothing wrong with these foods. They do not cause ill health. Where it becomes a problem is when we're eating a ton of saltine crackers, white bread, bagels, cake, cookies. These are carbs. These are the bad carbs. This is the junk food. Just call it junk food. You don't need to talk about it being carbs because it's also full of fat. And there's probably some protein in there too, but it doesn't matter. Stop thinking about it like macronutrients and just think about eating whole, healthy, natural foods and forget about the rest. The number one tool for weight loss is understanding calorie density. That just means the relative difference in calories for a bite of this food versus that food. If I eat 10 bites of olives, you're gonna get a lot of fat. If I eat 10 bites of beans or potatoes or brown rice, you're still filling your belly up the same way. You're gonna get full, but you're eating way less fat. Understand calorie density and you will have the ultimate key to weight loss, okay? One last thing we could touch on before we go is just all of this nutrient chasing. You do not need to worry about preparing foods a certain way in order to maximize the number of nutrients that you get out of them. Oh, I need to get the peel of the potato is the most nutrient. Don't you dare peel that potato. If the potato peel was so nutrient dense, then I would have to ask you, why are you eating the inside of the potato? Why don't you just peel all of your potatoes and then throw the potato in the garbage and then just eat potato peels. Just eat the skin of potatoes. Stop concerning yourself with these little ways of getting 2% more of a nutrient. If you do the thing this special way, you don't need to cook that way. Simplify your healthy whole plant food diet. You do not need to worry about nutrients. If you're eating the diet that we eat, you're getting more than enough nutrients. Go get your blood work done if you're worried about it, and you'll see for yourself that you don't need to worry about it. Then there's this whole supplement world, and I don't just mean vitamins. If you're low on a vitamin and you need to supplement, that's fine. But don't do it blindly without actually knowing that you need it. Go test your blood and see if you're actually not getting enough of something, and then you need to supplement. Check out my video about the supplements that are most important here, but mostly it's vitamin D if you're not getting out in the sun, vitamin B12 if you eat like us, but then there's all of these other little concentrated fruit and veggie powders or these gummies that you can take that are like 3 servings of fruit and 1 serving of this powder. Why? You don't need that. You don't need so much excess nutrients from fruit and all this that you would have to take it in a powdered form. It's all just marketing gimmicks. It's people trying to apply science to food in order to get rich off the food. You don't need to do that. Just eat healthy, whole foods and you're going to be fine. One of the top things that throws people off of adhering to the plant-based diet is adding too much complexity. There are too many people on the internet advocating for a plant-based diet, but making it so much more complicated than it has to be. And the whole point of this channel is to help you to remove that complexity. Watch these other videos that I mentioned throughout this video, and I think they'll help a lot. Thanks so much for watching this one. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.